I am honored to serve on the Holocaust and Human Rights Center of Maine board, whose programming as a high school student gave me my voice, empowered me to do peer-to-peer civil rights training, helped me reclaim my birth name, and the many opportunities it afforded me in Maine and beyond. I grew up in a small town in Maine called Winthrop. There, my family of Polish and Vietnamese descent had deep roots in the community. By the age of 4, my parents learned I had a proclivity for speaking multiple languages. However, I had a hard time grasping English. And the school system I would matriculate into would not offer English as a second language to help facilitate, in their words, my integration. When I arrived at the school, I experienced prejudice from a teaching assistant removing me from a self-portrait coloring activity because, in their words, there wasn't a crayon that matched my skin, to a teacher introducing foreign currency to the class and telling them I was worth only a peso, to ultimately children jeering on a bus singing the antacid jingle, tum to tum tum tums, the closest pronunciation to my given name, that led my parents to ultimately remove me from the school system. I would enter a new system nearly an hour away. The teacher, the first person of color I had ever met outside of the Vietnamese community, introduced me to new approaches to learning. Also, she spoke another language and took the time to get to know me. I trusted her and never felt less than enough. And within 2 months, I had accelerated ahead a full grade and was entered into the gifted and talented program, which I continued in high school. Yet I still struggled with English, this time with writing. So I would take ESL classes alongside newly arrived immigrants and refugees to the Augusta area. It further strengthened my language aptitude in other language classes, but it also gave me a chance to connect with another educator, this time an ESL instructor, who invested in my success. And in 1994, she introduced me to the Diversity of Leadership Institute, a program that brought together high school student leaders of diverse perspectives, thought, and ethnic and racial backgrounds statewide to combat biases and address prejudicial attitudes in high schools. It equipped me with the language to talk about biases and prejudice and its impact on students in the community who might otherwise endure the burden that had been inflicted on me or those that might have remained in silence. This program was the first time I reclaimed my narrative as a source of empowerment. And I shared it with others as an emblematic cautionary tale to those who did not see the value or need for diversity or inclusion or even civil rights in school communities. My worldview on what I could achieve and how I could make a difference in my community and beyond completely changed, none of which would have been possible without the generosity of the Holocaust and Human Rights Center, who fully funded the program, a program I was a part of for the better part of 10 years. By the time I graduated high school, I reclaimed my name, and it would have taken place at my high school graduation, the first time my friends would have heard it. While in college, I had the opportunity to serve on the Holocaust and Human Rights Center board for a 1-year term as a student, the youngest board member to serve in its history. And nearly 20 years later, in 2017, I was invited to serve on the board again. It is truly an honor and a privilege to serve an organization whose mission is to reflect and act against injustice, to be part of something larger than myself, and give back to the state of Maine, where I call home, made richer by the Holocaust and Human Rights Center.